Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 24-Bit Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about something very interesting that I think most of us can really relate. And we're going to be talking about IoT, or Internet of Things, as most of us know it. On set,
Chenze Emmanuel, androidkenya.com.
Dickson, Otieno, techish.com.
and I'm Nick Kanali from techtrends.ke. So guys, IoT has been here with us for a while, or is it still in the development stage?
Meaning, is it so my IoT first year?
So it's but compared to I was reading some articles that still describe it as still being in the development stages. Yeah.
What is IoT?
I'd say adoption stages.
Adoption stages,
yeah. Development, not really, because depending on where you are, there are various levels of implementation of IoT the world over. It might not be something Kenyans are familiar with, but it's been there the rest of the world. Like I was sharing with you guys before here, I was in Fora discussing IoT 5 years ago. And by then, people are coming to showcase real world use cases of IoT applications and solutions they are doing in their various countries. So it's been around for a while, and people like Huawei have been developing protocols and frameworks to support IoT for a while now. I remember learning about narrowband IoT 6-7 years ago, and it's been a thing for a while.
And Chenze said, a number of maybe Kenyans might not really understand what it is, but just to explain, it basically refers to 1 billion physical devices around the world that are connected to the internet and collecting and sharing data. Or is there a point missing in
the Internet of Things, IoT?
The how I like explaining it to people for easy understanding is, don't think of, when we think of the internet and internet connected devices, we are thinking of you going to the shop and buying something that already connects to the internet out of the box. While that can be true of some IoT applications, the easiest way to think about it is whatever you have that can have a chip embedded and get on the internet becomes part of the connected setup that forms the Internet of Things. Basically, that's it. So, if today you have, say, a light that somehow can get a chip and you can turn it on or off remotely. By you doing that, it's on a network, and when you're accessing it remotely, you're communicating over a network that already is the Internet of Things. Because it's nothing complicated. Your CCTVs,
Internet of Things.
Basically, things can be on a local network or on a wider area.
Where you need an alarm where it needs connection to the internet.
Exactly. Like I'm not sure. Dickson, you reviewed the Securix alarm.
The Securix alarm.
That's IoT. So for the people who got the 7K setup kit,
that's an IoT.
That's an IoT. If you have one of these
home device,
actually a lot of our smart home solutions are actually IoT devices.
If you live in a plot where the caretaker pumps water by some IoT.
So there are also a lot of sensors involved when it comes to
Yes. And also, even these two small things people attach to various things and access over a network, still IoT. The understanding can be it's cheap, so sensors, all those kinds of things. Anything that comes on, that's why the downside of it has been when there is idle capacity, like say CCTV, there is only a number of times when someone is actively looking at the footage and reviewing it. The rest of the time it's just there idle. That's why lots of hackers are taking advantage. If, for instance, you have your computer there's only so much it can do. But you could pull up all the IoT devices around the country and use their collective power to do something else. That's why that has become a common thing right now.
And actually, I want us to bring, of course, compared to other markets, we are kind of way chini bado tuja,
what are the markets?
We've not
markets,
not really African market. Okay, generally Africa bado hatuja peak. The uptake has not been that high, but I want us to bring the entire IoT conversation back home. And I was reading some tests again yesterday, and they're talking about how IoT. You said actually the first time you read about IoT was when you're still in
campus, the first course.
And I think as as recently as 2000, IoT was just a mere concept, yeah. But now,
it was a mere concept because our idea of computing was still based on things we can place on our desktops, and we were imagining the future of computing will be things you can place on your palms, those kinds of things.
And we had gotten to a level where we believed chips could be small enough to be inserted into very tiny.
Not many people thought we'd get there fast enough, but we have.
Right now, the chip on a very small bulb is more powerful than a computer from the 1980s.
Yeah, and actually, reports indicate, that's from the data I was gathering yesterday, that there will be 38.82 billion IoT devices installed worldwide by 2021, which means by December.
But think of it this way: and how many things right now need a chip? You have a smart speaker at home. Yeah. You have a bulb. You have an alarm. You have your car comes with a chip. Yeah. You have there's so much that where chips go into. You have a smart
actually fridge. Several components in the car have their own individual chips.
Yeah. You have microwave. You have there's so much where a chip is installed.
A good way of distinguishing between those is there's a chip as anything that has an IP address. It's the reason why we exhausted IPv4 addresses faster and we moved into IPv6, which gives us a whole range of set that is here to stay for a long while. Yeah, because each one of these things needs an IP address so that it's unique and can be located in this global interconnected space. So anything that has one of those IP addresses and is that tiny and everything, it makes up the
whole ecosystem.
And so how do IoT and building a smart home merge?
Because most of the smart home components are IoT devices. So while a lot of there are actually two ways to think of IT. There is the consumer IoT and there is the enterprise class IoT. Enterprise class is for a lot of people will be what we understand as industrial IoT. Remember, you can do the industrial bit and remain enterprise for other business applications like what now we've seen with Safaricom doing with their partnerships with Coca-Cola and the fridges, those kinds of things. Now at this consumer level is where we would find a smart home, for instance, because it's basically things we use daily. You have a smart adapter, you have your fridge, your TV, your house lamps, all those kinds of things. For most people, they won't think of that outright as IoT, but it's the same thing. Your bulb doesn't do anything else other than shine light, determining the intensity of the light, the temperature, and those kinds of things. Time to go on, go off, and to be accessed remotely, which is where the internet connectivity comes in. Other than that, doesn't do anything else. That's still IoT. Because it's incomparable to say a computer that can do multiple things. And you mentioned Safaricom because I believe they developed. They're working with KBL, Kenya Breweries Limited.
I've seen some of those fridges. At the airport, at some bus stations, where you lip an M-Pesa and then the water bottle, the soda you're buying. So I think it's an IoT solution because it has to communicate with the payment to know umelipa, Kenya umechagua kwa hiyo till number. So for example, at the EasyCode station, you look at the fridge inakuonyesha soda 006, then that is the number you enter as the account number ama kwa paybill number. So ukishaweka paybill number, account number, hiyo number yenye kwa hapo hivyo, hiyo ndio kitu ita drop. So utalipa 50 bob for the soda, it drops.
Let me ask, can the same be said about these parking systems that we use?
Yes, parking systems are also
because you pay via M-Pesa. By the time you're getting there, everything is fine.
And ukienda, for example, to Rivers, as long as you've paid, the camera looks at the number plate and opens the gate.
So by that bit alone, actually a lot of Kenyans
are interacting with IoT.
You just don't know.
For example, the best way ya kusema tuna interact na IoT devices could be ATMs. Watu wenye wana withdraw from M-Pesa or from their cards, they interact with IoT devices.
Because actually a good number of the ATMs, kitambo, I know this because one of our lecturers used to manage the ATM network in North Rift. Those things would store, and the guy will have to come physically to
do everything.
To do the troubleshooting, if it's a software upgrade, those kinds of things. These days it's remotely. You'll come, find one machine is dead. When the report is made, just a few minutes it comes back online. Somebody has troubleshot.
No physical.
Kitambo, they used to be managed centrally. Yes. They used to be managed centrally, yes, but a lot of the things could only be done physically. Yes.
So any Kenyan who's interacting with the parking system, these modern ATMs, insurance, people say, especially the insurance cards with chips, where you go, nini kona data yako. I don't know if that's a form of IoT.
Because I'm reading something here, like what you're talking about earlier with Safaricom. So the connected coolers are wired with sensors that monitor things like temperature and how often the fridge door is opened to give real-time data for KBL. Real-time data for KBL,
There's also another solution. The Safaricom.
The smart metering.
The
water metering.
KPLC and water metering.
How does that work?
I don't know how the KPLC one will work, but Safaricom won the contract for that. Sindio? It should be a smart meter where they can access data on your meter from anywhere. I think the current tokens units are also smart in some way, IoT devices in some way. So they receive a network. So that you can
I'm not so sure about how they work.
Because I know sometimes tunaambiwa network iko low. That's when you key in tokens as they respond.
I don't know. If you're watching this podcast, if you're listening to this podcast, come educate us. I'm pretty sure there's a good number of people who work at Kenya Power who will get to hear this. Yes, and the others who don't work at Kenya Power, but I may not understand. Come help us understand and educate the rest of our
So
audience.
The current meter system ya KPLC will be upgraded to some smart digital meters by Safaricom. And I think there will be better IoT devices. I don't know.
Yeah, and now still on that, and we talked about how IoT and smart homes merge. Yeah, but other than what Safaricom is doing, are we seeing now Kenyans? And do you know of any smart home in Nairobi? Have you seen one?
We are all we're in a smart home right now.
Yeah.
Right now,
like a
bell, lazima mwenye nyumba tufungulie, akisema tunawashiwa lights na Google.
I remember a while back, Chenze, we went to visit a shop. Xiaomi was open. Yeah, was it you or was it Chenze? There was a Xiaomi, they're opening a smart, I don't know what they were calling. I don't know what happened. Yeah, exactly,
No, it's just a smart vendor. Who are out to take advantage of these things because that's where we are coming and all of this. But basically, it was just a smart home. It was going to supply people who want to get into the smart home, want to turn
home into a full smart home
ecosystem, whatever those kinds of things. Which is nothing unique. You can order all these things. Like I've ordered my own part by part, because these things are costly.
But I'm thinking you don't need a lot to create a smart home.
You don't. You actually evaluate. You evaluate your needs.
To be honest, Kanali, you have an Android TV, so that's your Google Assistant in the car. You have an Android phone. That's your interface you interact na Google Assistant. You buy a smart bulb.
How much is this bulb? This bulb is
these bulbs are, angalia price ya LED bulbs na angalia price ya smart bulbs. Unaona so you buy a smart bulb, connect it to your Android phone, na unaongelesha via your Android TV, switch hivyo. So a smart home experience is not like an investment yenye tunataka kuanza immediately. I think it's just something I need a bulb. I need an alarm system. I need LED strips kama unazipenda. I need Google Home speakers. Hivyo tu. So
actually, the LED strips, like mine, do connect over the net.
Over the net,
Yeah. You connect initially when they don't know where they are. You connect via Bluetooth, but as soon as that they get onto your network, they have their own IP. All those kind
and
of
you can tell Google Assistant to change the color, switch them on, switch them off.
Let's talk about how now 5G is gonna have impact all these things. Of course. Come on, that was the serious thing. Okay, we know Safaricom is trying to. I mean, they say they'll be rolling out 5G official to all customers in how many months? Probably very soon.
Very soon. The year is ending.
Yeah, of course. Have you experienced a 5G connection anywhere?
No, unfortunately not yet. Na kwanza naishi karibu na place wanasema Northern Bypass next to but we haven't sijapata connection. One, because maybe the devices I'm using haven't been certified. For example, the Otieno 6, the company still says it's up to the network provider. I haven't used I got to interact with the S21 Ultra. It wasn't getting the 5G connection. But I knew where my nani alipata 5G connection.
It was Abuya. So like how now, of course, we know how fast 5G is. What do you think? How do you think it's going to impact IoT? And I mean, now going to seeing more Kenyans now trying to having smart homes, but
how do I answer this? Before 3G, do you remember the world we lived in? Before the 3G connection. And then 3G just changed how we could watch content online, do stuff. Then 4G can change the whole game in terms of speed and all that. So more people got connected to the internet after 3G and 4G. So I think 5G will enable like faster communication between these devices. I think 5G will also lower the price of access to internet. Now with 5G, I think building a network at home. Right now, you build a network at home via fiber money. With 5G, you can have a 5G router in the house, and that becomes the connection, the network point here to connect all your IoT devices. So more people will be connected to the internet via 5G and faster internet that's wireless compared to right now, where if you want a smart home connection in eco-stable, you need to get home fiber. So that's my take up with it.
That's your take, Chenze.
There will be some impact, but not now. If you are to look at the trajectory that 3G took, 4G took, of course, Safaricom was going faster with the 5G rollout. It's just a year since they announced it. And we are going to the end of 2021. They say they're planning at least full country coverage. I don't know how materialistic that will be, but then that's one, and that will be two main devices that we use. For it to now trickle down to the bit where we are able to do all these manner of things, that will take a while, and it has nothing to do with the network. It's a good thing the network is there, because now we have no excuses, or at least allows us to go and get into all those other ventures where these other devices are in. It has more to do with our economic outlook. A lot of IoT applications at consumer level are very niche and luxurious, not must have. You can have a lamp in your house. It doesn't need to be smart.
Can switch it on.
You can have all these other things. They don't need all the smartness. So there you lose out. Where I think there'll be immediate impact, and a lot of people will appreciate, is the other stage, maybe industrial scale, but I don't know where agriculture falls in. Will it be enterprise?
Yes, true.
Because say you are someone with a huge farm somewhere in the Rift Valley, you go and find all these nice sprinklers.
Where you can control.
You can run them. You don't have to hire 100 farm hands. You can just have a handful of people who can manage from their devices, monitor the state of the farms, kila kitu. That way, and then you see those places network who are So the thing with 5G is bandwidth, all those things. So where that is available, that will be a huge value add in the short term that will show greater impact. The consumer level, the uptake might take a while. The impact of 5G will be seen on other devices, not IoT as much. But now with time, we shall see it. Also, we don't know how Safaricom plans to price the bundles for 5G. That will have a huge impact because right now there are lots of people. CBC has brought all manner of trouble that you see on Kenyan internet. So there are lots of people who use those what do they call those bundles? The 4G that are an equivalent of home fiber for people who have no
4G for home.
4G for home, right? There are people who use that 4G for home, but what has Safaricom done recently?
The
pricing has gone up. So uptake will be influenced by price. Right now we don't know what Safaricom plans to do with the pricing of 5G bundles and those kinds of things. If at all bundles work for 5G, because
bundles will not be working for 5G to be honest.
Because look at it this way: you have like 12 devices in your house. Like whatever I run here, will it be sustainable on a mobile connection?
Or mobile data? Yes, 5G will sustain it, but will bundles be able to do everything?
So depending on how Safaricom plays its card, this might be the foray for most Kenyans to basically have everything in their houses that connect to the net. We can discuss about how secure that is later.
But it will open.
And you mentioned how 5G and the network is everywhere. You know how Abuya, we were in the middle of Amboseli National Park.
And you could catch a 5G.
Yes, 5G. But the 4G connection is also very good. We were even surprised.
What I am looking forward to is something I've seen in the US, in the remote areas where I don't know the name of the company, but they're offering 5G for home and it's unlimited. So you get a 5G router in your house, and I think it's middle or wideband 5G. And so kwa nyumba, you can't get fiber, but now you have a 5G router in the house and you can enjoy fast internet. And I hope more players, not just Safaricom, do that when they launch their 5G network.
Okay. And there's also the issue, of robots. Not sure if anyone has traveled out of the country recently, but I remember that there's a link that was shared with me here the other day about, this robot at JKIA that is being called Jasiri. So Jasiri plays a part in ensuring that there are more than 5,000 international travelers who arrive at or transit through, Coach JKIA. And what it does is, it can scan, of course it was, brought in because of COVID and all that. So it can scan 200 passengers in a minute from a meter of up to 3.5 meters.
In terms of temperature,
it should be the temperature. Uko unakuja instead of when you're going to supermarkets, instead of those, because the volume of the people exiting
is so high.
You just walk.
So the ones that the ones that zinaonyeshanga screen wakati unaingia alafu inasoma something on
I just don't know how unique that their series because and they were used
Garden City. There was
they started being used because of the Ebola outbreak. So if your temperature is very high, you're secluded.
Awesome.
But here is the best one yet. If you are transiting via Dubai, before, say you've flown from Nairobi to Dubai, and then from Dubai you're going from Chenze to Malaysia to the US, whatever. Before you board your flight elsewhere, on select flights, I don't know where they've gotten right now with their selection. You would actually not need to show it. There is no that interaction with somebody physically checking your passport to make sure you have the visa and everything. Just
the face.
So they've installed such machines. All those are basically IoT. It's intrusive. It's intrusive, yes, but it works.
All those are IoT, which we could even say IoT.
Yes, but maybe just as we wind up, maybe there's a quote from what Safaricom CEO was saying when they were rolling out the trials of 5G. They were saying that this network is designed to connect. He was saying this network is designed to connect everyone and everything, including machines, objects, and devices, in order to cater for existing and future connectivity needs. So, just as we said, of course, this has been happening. So, at some point, everyone, including everyone that's listening to this podcast, has used an IoT device or interacted with that IoT device, right? So I think that's it. Unless anyone has some closing remarks, anything to
I'm just looking forward to 5G.
5G,
and
yeah.
to the dream, because 5G as a standard hasn't like been very clear yet. Yeah. So the dream about very fast internet is okay, but we've realized it's in short, like the closest boosters, the long range means itakuwa na shida na speed. So I'm looking forward to when 5G will now become like a standard where I'm sure 4G can achieve these speeds or whatever. So staki kuwa, for example, right now signals can be blocked by a building, by a tree. So I'm looking forward to a time where we are with 5G and it's working everywhere. I'm looking forward to a time where 5G chips can be installed on the basics, the most basic of like IoT devices and all that, so that I can live in an interconnected world where my SIM card, like my network provider, I don't need like right now I need 2 SIM cards to operate on my laptop, and on my phone and on my tablet and all that. So I'm looking for that way where 5G plan will cover all my devices very well.
They were saying it has the potential to provide up to 700 Mbps, projected to progressively grow to 1000 Mbps.
And I'm waiting for that, because 1000 Mbps in a movie less than a minute now watch. Hata hakuna haja kuidownload by the stream. Because by the way you see how 4G has changed now umesema we are winding up. Unaona venye 4G imechange the idea of watching at a YouTube. Kitambo you will say download those videos and watch them.
And we've seen the impact in the way that today success, especially in the Kenyan entertainment scene, is measured in the number of views of 24-hour videos when a new music video drops. Previously, in the era of 3G, you would need to wait for 4 p.m. or 5, the beat. If your song doesn't play on the beat, you don't exist.
You won't be on the top trend.
Or stomp for gospel songs or whatever, or straight up live. Remember, then 4G came, and today almost everyone who has a phone, they do go to YouTube. And for those that don't go to YouTube, especially the young ones, they do discover music via TikTok.
And you can imagine the impact of a faster internet and more connectivity to later. There's so much. For example, we have Netflix for free. As long as you have an internet connection. There's so much that could change with faster internet.
Awesome. I think that's it for now.
Thank you very much, Dickson at TechIsh.com.
Chenze Emmanuel and at Kenya.com. And my parting shot for this will be, nice as IoT is, there are still some things we'll encounter as we go along. There are various standards of IoT which will need to be addressed. And normally, I think these will be addressed at a certain level for consumer IoT, at a certain level that is above the consumer, because these are not things, yes, I have an interest in these things, so these are things I'm obsessed on, but these are not the things your everyday user obsesses over. But they need to be covered, because today you want to go and buy something that works on the Zigbee framework, and then you go the next day go buy something else that works on another. What you will come and realize is they don't work together. You'll have wasted money. So somebody needs to have that figured out before you start buying things. So you always need to know basically those kinds of things, because all that the user cares about is application, not all those nitty-gritties. Right now, I don't know of any single provider around who's offering users that peace of mind. If someone like me is going to buy any of these things, I know my way around. Lots of other people want to. That needs to be addressed. 1, 2, privacy issues. For things like CCTV and all, if you are getting a third party to provide a service for you and you are uploading all of this to the cloud, what kind of assurances are there? That's 1. And 2, since there are lots of foreign players, how does our government and local legislation cater to us? Like, how do they protect us? Because tomorrow all your data from your house will be put for sale on the internet, and what will you do about it? That thing is the security issues around it. Somebody will need to ring fence them. So if Safaricom is supporting an entire network of IoT devices, they need to make sure somebody sitting in Taiwan or South Korea cannot access those ones and use them as a huge botnet to attack other people, because that has happened. Security is a very big concern for, anyone who just
uses any internet-enabled device or just anything.
Yeah, but other than that, it should be exciting. There are so many places IoT will be of use. Look at it this way: you run a big hospital. Comes in handy at monitoring patients without you increasing the number of human labor. Yeah, so you can handle more patients because a lot of hospitals worry about capacity, especially if say there was an outbreak today and a hospital has a capacity, leave alone the pandemic, and a hospital has a capacity of 100. The reason they have a capacity of 100 is so many other factors. There's bed space and there's the HR, the number of doctors and nurses and lab technicians that are able to sustain that. But what if a lot of those things that those people do, and there's a way they can be looked after by all this gadgetry that we have, so that the same number of personnel can accommodate a larger number. We've talked about agriculture. The same can be done to education, transportation. If you own a fleet of trucks that go to Rwanda, South Sudan, UG, like these, like what they're doing with KBL and Coca-Cola, there's like so much more. So if you are the owner and you are not always, you know, always digawanya into many parts to be everywhere. Like IoT is the only way to go. Like you have nodes everywhere telling you what's happening. Sensors, actuators,
including monitoring the traffic in this town. I mean, but for the traffic, I've seen IBM trying implementing, that with they were doing that with I think the Nairobi City Council. I think they were doing something close. So they had installed some sensors. Try just monitor traffic, which I don't know how.
I want to Google Maps.
See how that project went.
I don't understand the solution about it.
Yeah, but anyway, that's a story for another day. Yeah. So, and I'm Kanali. See you on the next one.